This episode of Square Up with GraySquare is brought to you by the Home Group. If your plans in 2020 include purchasing or selling a home in the great state of Tennessee, of course we got sponsors in the great state of Tennessee, you need to get in touch with our friends at the Home Group based out of Nashville, well, just outside of Nashville. You can learn more about them on their website at home.group. That's HOM.group. And that's it. That's the whole website.
Boom.
How baller is that, Bill?
Baller.
That really is.
Bars.
Like, if you're not out here eliminating the www and the .com from your website name, you need to get out of the real estate game. All right. If your real estate company's website is not just you type it in the address bar and it comes up, having .com at the end is played out.
It's overrated.
That's 2018 foolishness.
It's overrated.
The Home Group's not dealing with that anymore. All right. So you need to check them out. These guys are growing like crazy in Tennessee. They're jumping in a bunch of states here soon that I know about down south. By the time you listen to this, they'll probably be in your city too. These guys are out of control. Also, if you're in real estate, whether you're just, purchasing a home, you're an agent, you're in real estate in any capacity, you need to follow them on Instagram. It's at Home Group USA, at HOM Group USA. Their social media is on point. These guys make memes about real estate and like making fun of home buyers. So if you're a real estate agent, you can really understand it. Not necessarily making fun of home buyers. They're not going to call you out on Instagram. I mean, maybe if you don't know how to act, but seriously, check them out. These guys are the best.
This week in Square Up with GraySquare.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Square Up with GraySquare. We're hanging out with Bill Vollrath. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, yeah?
Excited
to be back on, yeah.
I know, right? We've prepared enough. So there's two ways we go about these podcasts. One is just we turn the mic on and see what happens, and another is Bill Vollrath style, where we like diligently prepare a list of topics.
I like it that way. I like it being prepared, for what I'm going to say.
Structured?
Yeah, structured, yeah.
The people expect freestyle out of us, though.
Oh, there'll be plenty of that.
You just like an outline.
I need like a base. I need like a base to work off of, and the freestyle kind of comes as, it's flowing and, things are going wild and start talking about whatever. Yeah,
as we get into like our second or third beer of the podcast, and it starts getting more and more free.
Exactly.
And then Catalina's got to clean it up for us later. To like eliminate us swearing and stuff. Now, what's fun, what I think is going to be fun about this one is, when we came up with the name Square Up with GraySquare, it was the gist of it was like two people with opposing views on different topics. And then what we ran into is we kind of got away from that because everybody we hang out with is mainly people from the company. I mean, we started doing better with getting people like outside of the business to hang out with us.
Sure.
But we just tend to agree on everything, and just the whole podcast is like, yeah, I agree, you're right, and here's why I think you're right. You're so smart, here's why you're right. And It's like we're not really squaring up at that point. It's just, people us patting ourselves in the back for how right we think we are. Which I don't know if that's entertaining or not.
But. No, I mean, I think we agree on a lot of things, but I also think we
on these topics, yeah.
What, on a lot of these topics, yeah. I mean, I think we could, like go back and forth on a lot of these.
So with the first topic being like winging it versus preparation. Well, for something like this, you like to prepare. Are you the same way with going into like a meeting or like a sales pitch? Do you like to really get prepared and organized?
Yes.
Or do you just like show up and wing?
Yes, absolutely. I like, for me to feel very comfortable with what I'm saying and like to relieve a lot of stress, I have to be prepared. I have to have bullet points. Yeah. I will study the night before. I will study until the meeting actually happens. Yeah. I want to know who my audience is. I want to know. I want to know how it's going to be structured, from like introduction to the meat of the meeting to how I'm going to end it, and be prepared for firing questions from the audience just in case it gets out of hand or whatever the case may be. So, because if I don't, public speaking isn't exactly easy, but from me and you both talking to a lot of customers, made our lives a little easier when it comes to talking to a large crowd or whatever.
I probably show up to too many meetings just winging it. Like when I do interviews, that's 100% winging it. I mean, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you've done it so many times. You can go off the cuff now, but
yeah. So what's for those of you guys that this is the first time hearing from Bill, I know you guys have to hear from me all the time, but if it's your first time hearing from Bill, Bill is one of the guys who helped start the company, one of our founding partners, members, whatever we like to call ourselves to make us look cool at bars when we talk to women. But yeah,
here's my business card.
Here's my business card. I'm very important at this huge business. Founding member of the company, helped us pilot, our initial projects, obviously, trained the bulk of the team, helped us build to where we are, is currently running a new program, which we'll get into. You can hear Bill actually did if I'm not mistaken, our very first podcast, or the second one, was just us replaying a conference call that you ran. Is that right?
Yeah, it was building your team like an MBA, like
it was like evaluating your people,
or
something like that. Yeah.
Which
I don't know if that's still the case, but that one had like the most views or downloads for a long time. If you want to hear a good like half hour spiel about some pretty interesting management tactics and how to like view putting a team together, whether you're building a startup, whether you're managing a sports team, whatever. That's a really like strong, short podcast to listen to. Like there's a lot of information crammed into that half hour.
I appreciate it.
Or maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Seriously, no, it was really good.
I appreciate it. I put a lot of preparation into that.
See, you're right.
Call, yeah.
Damn it, you're right, man. You know what's funny is
I really did. I actually have notes to this day. I can go back and be like,
and run the same thing.
I actually edited it multiple times just to get it down to a point where I was like, all right, I feel comfortable with preparing and letting it go and sharing it to everyone.
See, that's a good point. This is another point that I lose on is because when I did it right there. When I record these podcasts, because I'm winging it a lot, I have pauses and I say which
filler words,
which Catalina, when she was editing it, would kind of cut a lot of that out initially to like help me out and make me sound like I knew what I'm talking about.
Sure.
But none of that with yours. It was all just point, strong and concise.
I worked on that a long time. The filler words. Like when you say like winging it, I used to wing it, and that's where all the filler words came in, like or so, or just like gaps of just silence sometimes, and you're just like,
right,
where do you go? So preparations helped me to alleviate me using filler words.
You know what I'm trying to do with filler words is allow the silence to happen. Because if you listen to a lot of like great speakers, sometimes they'll have pauses in there, whether it's for dramatic effect or whatever, but they won't fill the space with just junk. They'll let the silence happen.
Silence is powerful sometimes, depending on your points you're trying to make. I agree. Just like that.
I'm going to let it ride for like 5-10 more seconds. As people like just shut off the thing because they thought our computer died or something. Yeah, good stuff. So, Bill, what's new with you, man? I mean, you recently went through a transition period. You took on a new project. I'll let you talk about it. So you transitioned from, managing and helping build one campaign that we have onto a completely different client, completely different vertical. How's that going? What's life like in Bill's world?
Cool. I've been a part of a lot of different pilots, and obviously going from, a retail arena to business is definitely, because I haven't done business in a very long time. And you're talking to a different clientele. I mean, a lot of the times you're with retail customers, you're kind of just talking to everyone, whereas B2B, you are kind of realistically going after business owners, CEOs, managers, people that have talked to a lot of different salespeople before, and they know what they're talking about. And so you have to have a certain level of creativity, which once again, this is why I felt like I could do well with a pilot campaign. It's been not the easiest of transitions, but it's one of those things where the campaign, the client, has a lot of potential to grow for its long term as a company. So, I mean, that's kind of what's been new with me regarding like the company and things like that. And, I want to be able to advance as far as doing these GraySquare videos and, things like that. So I want to take this onto a different level for the company as well. So
how much would you say, like going from, because typically all we really do in the grand scheme of things is acquire customers, manage relationships, deal with people, right? So how much of the transition from customer engagement in a retail setting versus a business setting was similar? Because at the end of the day, people are people,
sure,
right? But you have people in a very different setting, and you have I don't want to get too much into like stereotypes or whatever, but you have people in different settings. How much of it is similar versus how much of it is just is it completely different?
I'll say what's different first, because there's one thing that kind of stands out is like when you're in retail, it's almost as if you're in a shared space. Like they're there to buy, you're there to sell, but they're also there for discounts and to buy things that are advantageous to what you're selling. So in that capacity, it's different from business to business, because in business to business, you're in their territory. So you almost have to come across as more of a accommodating approach, so to say, instead of like, buy now or grab your bill or, who's your manager? Like you can't come across that way. It's almost like a multiple touch type of sale, whereas retail, it's very impulsive, where they're already in buying mode. They have money to spend, which works in your favor, but you also got to be able to impulse them on the spot. Whereas business to business is very, let me tell you what I got. Let me see if a different time or day works better for you and accommodate you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does in terms of tactic, in terms of like mindset. No, that's good. That's good stuff, man.
And I mean, as far as like being similar, obviously the clients we work with are clients and products and services that people already pay for. You know what I mean? Like it's hard for someone to argue that they don't go home and 80% of their time at home is watching TV or on their phone. Like you could probably take a poll of everyone in America and say, what do you do when you go inside of your house? If it's not on my phone or on my computer or watching TV, I think they're lying, because I think it's more 80% to 20%. I even think I'm lowballing myself when I say that. If someone else can argue this and wants to argue this point to me, I would love to hear it, because I can't see
that's fair
that going the other way.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Maybe in a neighborhood like ours, like Northern Liberties in Philly, where people are like, I don't have a TV. like they act like they get rid of their TV to be cooler and smarter and more important.
That could happen.
Here's another.
There's 20% I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean,
I don't even know that that's 20%. So here's the real question: is out of people that say I don't have a TV, right? They're the typical hipster. They're on the bike, the 10-speed, going through the city. They have daddy's money, but they look homeless, right? That crowd that say they don't have a TV. What percentage of those are lying when they say I don't have a TV?
I don't think,
of course, this is a total guess.
Yeah. I mean,
nonsense.
How many of those are lying? I think 95% of them are lying, because here's why. I think they have a TV somewhere, Landon.
Yeah.
But they may not have cable, but they may have streaming services, which means they need internet. Or can a TV screen be also interpreted as a phone screen? Or
that's how they avoid it.
Or a tablet considered a TV screen. They could be, kind of hiding the fact that they don't have an actual TV, but they have a phone, TV, or a tablet TV in replace of an actual TV television set.
I think
you know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah, I totally do. That makes a lot of sense. That's a nice workaround. I think in my old age of 33, I've become more cynical. I'm more likely to think now compared to 10 years ago when somebody says something to me, I'm more likely to think, that's not true. You're lying.
You love that line. That's not true.
That's not true. That's my immediate comeback to something like that. Like any time somebody says something to make themselves appear holier than thou, better, in an upper echelon of people, holier than thou. That's my Southerner coming out. Growing up in the church, holier than thou, right? I initially think, no, you're just as bad as me. You're just as much of a TV junkie, loser sitting around on the couch as me when you have time for it.
And you know what's funnier is when you agree with someone, your line is facts. It's either no, that's not true, or if it's I agree, Landon, it's facts.
Facts.
There you go. Yep.
Bars.
Bars or bars. Yep.
That's the hip hop head.
Bars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
That's funny.
So we're recording this 2 days before Thanksgiving. I'm not sure when we'll put it out. This is probably going to come out in like a couple weeks because we're a little ahead of schedule. So I feel like my Thanksgiving experience is very different from your Thanksgiving experience over the years.
Okay.
Right?
Fair enough.
Because you're near family and near a big family. Like, how many people are showing up for Thanksgiving if you had to guess at your house? Or your family's house?
Like, realistically, probably like around 40.
That's insane.
And for Easter, it's even worse. It's like 55, 60. Like,
that's unbelievable.
My parents' house is at its capacity.
Right.
Now, for Thanksgiving, I have it at my uncle's place, which they have a nice house. The food is like, they even have like little trinkets and stuff for the table. Right. And they have their name. We have name tags. Like, it's prepared.
Yeah.
Like, everything's matching and decorations are everywhere.
Right.
And it's like, you've been there.
I know.
Landon, you've been to one of my Thanksgivings before, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know. It's an unreal experience. I can't believe 40, 50 people. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. So my Thanksgiving experience for the last 10 years, give or take a year or two, I live in the Northeast between Philly, Boston, wherever I happen to be at the time. And my family is all obviously in Nashville for the most part, all over the great state of Tennessee for the rest of it. And I don't really get to go home for Thanksgiving too much, right? I usually stay up here and work, and I just do like a longer Christmas. So I thrive on the Friendsgiving and the other parents' Thanksgivings or other family Thanksgiving. And this is a pro tip from a nomad Thanksgiving crasher as myself. You will learn to love this diverse, great nation if you go to like a mixed family Thanksgiving, like, where, mom or dad is first generation immigrant or second generation immigrant from some other country, because what they do, and I didn't know this as a, person whose family is all basically from the same place. We only have your traditional Thanksgiving foods, right? When I've been to Thanksgivings with, people from other countries, other parts of the world, you get the traditional American Thanksgiving with all those amazing dishes, and you get the best of their world too. So I've done, obviously, the Italian Thanksgiving.
That's Irish, yeah.
Right? Yeah, yep. I've done that. So you get the best of those worlds. I've done the Filipino infused Thanksgiving. Very, very different.
I'm sure that's different, yeah.
Oh, God. I've done.
It must be amazing.
Where was another one at? A Puerto Rican Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. And now with
this year will be Colombian Thanksgiving.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the best Thanksgivings.
You don't have to travel around the world to experience what you're doing.
I don't.
Right here in the States.
Right here in the States, right? And this may or may not be controversial. I'm convinced that we could solve all of the wars and issues that people have with each other through food. If you feel some sort of way about a certain race, a certain group of people, a certain part of the country, eat their food, and it will change your mind. I'm convinced. People have great food. They put their heart and soul into it, and you see like, all right, you know what? I understand these people.
Now you get it.
We aren't so different after all, you and I, from you from this part of the world and me from this part of the world. We have that in common. We both love food, and you guys have something new.
I love it. That's
so
great.
what's your favorite? Let's go best and worst Thanksgiving dishes. Like, what's the MVP at your Thanksgiving?
All right. Well, at my family's, we do things a little differently because, as you know, we do like fruit, and it's an Italian thing. Traditionally we do. We always start off with fruit. Then it's like homemade soup. Then it's ravs, which are absolutely on point all the time. My uncle and aunt are like professional cooks. And then it's like
the Rav game is crazy.
If you can survive,
it means raviolis.
Yeah, raviolis. Yeah,
the Rav game.
Sorry, Rav for short.
It's all good.
If you can survive the first or second, plate of ravs, you're doing okay at my house, because what happens is there is a absolute comatose of just people sleeping all over the place, and my family is notorious for taking over one couch with my entire family sitting on it and just passed out.
Sure.
And then once we're done passing out there, we wake up and it's another round of turkey and stuffing and green bean casserole and salads and whatever.
Right.
So sorry you're already getting me excited about the Thanksgiving dinner we're about to feast on. But
we got time.
My favorite has got to be the raviolis that my uncle prepares. That is my MVP, and I know it's a little different from probably the other people listening.
Good.
But
in there.
and I'll even spice up a little bit and go. There's a drink that my family is known for making. It is the eggnog that my aunt makes, and it is on point.
Yeah.
Yes, it is creamy. It is just like, it goes perfect. And then you add a little alcohol in there, and then whoa, there you go.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Thanksgiving is one of those things where you have to, you got to get, if you're of age, right, you got to get a couple drinks in before the food starts coming, because you want to be at that peak hunger. Like I saw this, there's this meme on Instagram. It said like, it was basically like a Twitter conversation, but it said like, what do you guys eat for breakfast on Thanksgiving or something like that? Yeah. And that was the response. It's like, no, you fast. You starve yourself until dinner.
Absolutely.
That's the golden rule.
Yeah, you can't survive. You
got to show up. You go empty stomach. You go 2-3 drinks. I recommend not beer. It's going to be heavier. You're going to take up a lot of space. You need a hard
from
liquor.
experience. Yeah, you know.
I know.
Here's the tips of the trade. Yeah.
I've been in the game a long time, and I love a drink or two, right? So you got to go complete empty stomach, right?
I agree.
You got to go.
This is where we agree on. I definitely agree. Yeah.
You got to go complete empty stomach, couple strong drinks in your system, and then you hit that table, and you're ready. And that's the move. My we'll do the best one.
We'll do best one. We'll come back. We'll circle back. Yep.
So I'll go with the drink since you mentioned the eggnog. My favorite drink that I've ever had on a Thanksgiving was when I went to the Puerto Rican Thanksgiving with Ari and those guys several years ago. They made coquito.
Oh, okay.
Which is like,
I have heard of this. Yeah.
Crazy good, right? I can't describe it. I'm not going to get it right. But there's rum and God knows what else in there. And
sell our listeners on what it tastes like.
Sell the coquito. I don't know. It's like I feel like it's kind of milk based. There's rum in it. I don't know. It's like a dessert type of drink, right? And real strong. And they would only serve it to me like one glass at a time. So what I mean by that is I would finish, my first drink. You really knock it back. And you're like, God, this is really good. Like, let me get another one. And they'd be like, won't you wait a minute? Right?
Like your horses now.
Yeah, they're like, won't you slow down? We don't want you to get too going off that coquito. And then you come back in 30 minutes and we'll give you another one. That was my best drink for next year. But my food of choice
Uno más. Sorry.
Uno más, por favor. Uno más coquito, por favor. Mamacita. Me gusta coquito. Is I love so when I do get to go home for Thanksgiving, my older brother's wife, my sister-in-law, she knows that I love macaroni and cheese. I could live off of it. 3 meals a day, I could go nonstop, right? It'd be 1,000 pounds, but I'd be happy.
Right now, yeah.
I know, God. And she makes an obscene amount of mac and cheese so that I can just constantly go back and enjoy myself. And I like it, I don't want to say room temperature, but not like with the cheese is piping hot. I like it when it's cooled down a bit, when it's kind of hardened up, right? It's not so soft. It's kind of hardened up. I think it just has a more enjoyable texture. It's a better experience. But aside from that, my other favorite is the combo bite, which
what's that?
You take your fork on a tour of the plate.
Oh, okay.
Right? You get a little turkey, a little ham, a little stuffing, a little mashed potatoes, a little gravy on that job. A little tour de plate. That's the French Thanksgiving.
I like it. I like it. I like it. That's awesome. A
little bite of everything on it.
Yep.
And it's just it's a full sensation. It's a full experience. So, what is the dish that sits full? The worst dish of Thanksgiving that comes back, that it just sits there, and you feel bad because of how full like the plate is or the tray is at the end of the night.
Oh man, there's a couple that I can rattle off. I might have to agree with America because there was an article I saw on Facebook from ABC News saying that the least favorite Thanksgiving dish was cranberry sauce or cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
And I have to agree, or green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a professional cook, there are ways to tweak it so that it tastes a little bit better. But I don't like, this is going to sound weird, but like squishy things. Like, I don't know why cranberry sauce is like, for me.
You like Jell-O?
No, I don't like.
Okay.
I know.
Further validates the point.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like things that are,
right.
I guess, like that type of, I don't know. I don't know. It's something I've always been against, but yeah, it's my least favorite. How about you?
Okay. So, see, this is really tough. What I'm trying to think of is a lot of the Thanksgiving that I go to are kind of potluck style, where everybody's responsible for bringing something. A lot of times you'll see two people bring the same dish, but one of them goes, it's not like they're both half eaten. It's like one is clearly favorited by the group and the other is just not. And a lot of times that's on desserts. Like, I can't handle a bad dessert on Thanksgiving. Okay. That's a big one.
I agree.
Is a bad dessert. But in terms of like traditional Thanksgiving dishes, I don't mess with the cranberry sauce. I don't know if I have a good reason. It's not like like the first time I ever had, and this is why I think the first time I ever had cranberry sauce was last week on a Wawa gobbler.
Oh wow, you like one of the first ones to introduce me to
the Wawa gobbler, but I always went sans cranberry.
Yeah,
no cranberry. I don't know why. I didn't have a good reason. My dad loves cranberry sauce. He would eat it all the time. And it wasn't until I had this for those of you guys that are outside of the Philly, South Jersey area, the Wawa gobbler is, if you believe in a higher power, he or she created the gobbler. All right. That's all I have to say. It's a sandwich that has Thanksgiving between two buns and or in a bowl.
Wawa,
you can go either way.
Wawa in general is just.
I know that's a separate podcast.
I know that's a separate. We could definitely go on and on about Wawa and why it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. For sure.
So I encourage people that come on our podcast to not give free plugs away. To not do free advertising for other companies. Wawa's an exception to that rule. If you're a future guest on Square Up with GraySquare and if you'd like to talk about Wawa and your love for Wawa, we got more than enough time for it.
And we would love to sponsor anyone.
You're right.
And we would talk it up.
I know.
Especially if we believe. We only talk about things we believe in.
That's a good point, and we can proudly believe in the Wawa. This is great. But I'm so gassed up about Thanksgiving. It's the best time of the year.
Food,
it really is.
Family, football. How do you not go wrong with that?
I can't stay awake for the football. It's never going to happen for me. I'm going to be asleep by then.
Well, you're right. If I survive the coma state that we'll be in after 1, 2, or 3 of the meals that we have prepared first.
Here's another question. What time does Thanksgiving start at your place? Like, it's aggressively early at pretty much all houses.
It's like 2 or 3 for us.
That's so early. But you have enough time to have like 3 extra plates afterwards.
Correct.
So really staggered out.
Yeah.
I don't know what time the Thanksgiving that I'm going to this year is, the Colombian Thanksgiving. We're at probably noon, that's obscene. That's not going to start at noon.
They won't. That's just saying get here.
Nobody's going to show up at noon.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to show up at noon. We could go on about Thanksgiving forever. Got any good business topics we can go through?
Well, I saw an article about. I'm always interested. I always just somehow either because I listen to a lot of radio shows, like when on my drive-in, to work and anything like that, or I just see something on whatever LinkedIn or Facebook, and they did a poll on the smartest states.
Okay.
Now, I probably didn't hear what was like the basis of this poll, but New Jersey, of all states, was voted the smartest state.
Okay.
Out of all the states. Now, like I said, I don't know. I didn't hear the beginning of, I just turned on the radio and I just heard like the ending part of it. I know Pennsylvania came in at 14 for whatever this is. I don't know if it's like kids or students taking, SATs or whatever, or just general testing or whatever. But I found that very interesting, to say the least. I think Iowa or Idaho or one of those came in dead last. So
that's an interesting poll. I feel like those things are 100% of the time conducted by the people who have the top results in it. Like, it's conducted to make the people, like, I guarantee if you do this, I love a good conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory here is that this was conducted by the state of New Jersey tourism department, or the education board of New Jersey. Come visit our state and go to our schools because of how smart we'll make you.
Conspiracy theories is a whole nother thing we could go into.
We'd lose so many people by blabbering on conspiracy
True, because we do
like,
very strong opinions about a lot of different ones that are very controversial. Yeah. You gotta have controversial topics. It'd be interesting, right?
Keep things interesting, Oh, man. This is good stuff. How can people get in touch with you if they want to say, hey, you just need to throw out your email address or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then feel free to pitch, what you're selling.
Sure.
If people want to sign up for it.
Sure, absolutely.
Or a project you're running.
Sure. So you can reach me. I'll give my email address out. So it's Bill, Bill, at GraySquare.com, and that's GoGraySquare.com, not GREY. I don't know why people get that confused.
Happens all the time.
It does, yeah, it happens all the time. But no, if you need, if you're just moving in and you need cable, internet, hookup, I'm your guy. If you just hate Comcast, or if you happen to live in the area where you have, someone else and then Fios is in your area, hit me up. If you have anything other than Sprint and you're paying too much or just hate the service, hit me up because I can also help you out with Sprint. If you're a business and you're trying to get set up to lower your energy costs or to get your POS system all set up, hit me up. You can send me an email. I'll be gladly able to help you out and give you discounts and things like that. Be sure to like this video and share it with anyone else who and be able to check us out at our website, GraySquare. Follow us on LinkedIn and follow us on
Instagram and all that.
For sure. Like our photos, you can see us, you can check us out and learn more about us. I'm excited for the next GraySquare Square Up podcast or whatever we do.
Yeah, man, this has been great, man. We got to do again. We got to do this more often.
I miss this. Yeah,
we took like if anybody follows this podcast or if they're checking it out for the first time and they go back and see all the dates of everything, it's very clear when we launched a lot of our projects because we went like full radio silence for 2 months because everybody was just working a million hours a day constantly to get these programs off the ground. And, now we're trying to do better.
It takes time, man.
It does. It's part of it. You forget to, have a little fun and preach the gospel out here.
Yeah. And last thing I want to tell the listeners is if you want to be on Square Up or one of our Grab Beer with GraySquare podcasts, definitely reach out to either myself or Landon to be able to schedule a time and a day where we can go out and interview you. And if you want to share your story or your business or your success or your struggles, whatever the case may be, we are open. We are looking for sponsors as well. So if you as we grow this thing, because this will grow, so
We're always taking on new sponsors.
We're always taking on new sponsors as well.
We've had some really cool guests on the show, man.
We really have.
I've interviewed some cool people on this thing. I'd love to brag about them for another hour, but check out their episodes, before the ones just before this one.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think we're due for another beer.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'll cut this thing off. So
I appreciate you listening to Landon and myself here, guys.
Yeah.
Have a happy Thanksgiving. Get stuffed. Sleep. Watch some football. Have a good time with family.
Yeah, exactly. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out, and we'll do this again sometime. Later, guys.
Cheers.